Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter in Geography, Chapter 4 Climate. Students, in this chapter we are going to study about the atmospheric conditions that prevail over our country. Difference between weather and climate. Tropical monsoon type of climate. Climatic controls. Factors affecting India's climate. The mechanism of Indian monsoon. The seasons, monsoon as a unifying bound. Now, students, in the last two chapters, you have read about the landforms and the drainage of our country. These are the two of the three basic elements that one learns about the natural environment of any area. In this chapter, you will learn about the third, that is, the atmospheric condition that prevail over our country. Why do we wear woolens in December, or why it is hot and uncomfortable in the month of May, and why it's rain in June and July? The answers to all these questions can be found out by studying about the climate of India. Now, what is climate? Climate refers to the sum total of weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period. It is the sum total of average weather conditions of 30 years. Elements of climates are temperature, atmospheric pressure, winds, humidity, and precipitation. Examples of climates are monsoon, equatorial deserts, cold climate, etc. Now, students, weather. What is weather? Weather is the state of atmosphere at any point of time and an area. Weather changes every moment. Elements of weather are temperature, atmospheric pressure, winds, humidity, and precipitations. Examples of weather: cloudy, windy, dry, wet weather. Now, students, there is some common pattern over a large few weeks or month. Days are cool or hot, windy or calm, cloudy or bright, and wet or dry. On the basis of generalized atmospheric conditions, the year is divided into seasons such as winter, summer, and rainy seasons. The world is divided into number of climatic regions. Now, the climate of India is the monsoon type. Monsoon is the seasonal reversal in the wind system during the year. This type of climate is found mainly in the South and Southeast Asia. Though there is an overall unity in the general pattern, there are perceptible regional variation in climatic condition within the country. Now, students, in summer, temperature occasionally rises to 50 degrees Celsius or more in some parts of the Rajasthan deserts, while it is around 20 degree in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. Why? Because there are perceptible regional variation in climatic conditions within the country. These conditions vary from place to place and season to season. On a winter night, temperature of Dras in Jammu and Kashmir is as low as -45 degrees Celsius, while Thiruvananthapuram experiences temperature of 22 degrees Celsius on this night. On January, temperatures according to the day and night. Certain places have wide difference between day and night temperatures. In Thar deserts, day temperature rises to 50 degrees Celsius and comes down to near freezing point the same night about 15 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, there is hardly any difference in day and night temperatures in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Kerala. Now we find great variations not only in the form and types of precipitation, but also its amount and the seasonal distribution. Now, precipitation is mostly in the form of snowfall in the Himalayas. It is only in the form of rains over the rest of the country. Annual precipitation varies from over 400 centimeter in Meghalaya to less than 10 centimeter in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most part of the country receive rainfall from June to September. Tamil Nadu coast gets most of its rain during November and December, the month of retreating and the winter monsoon respectively. Now, coastal areas experience less variations in temperature conditions. Interior of the country have more seasonal variations. Rainfall decreases generally from east to west in northern plains. Climatic variations have resulted in variety of life of the people in terms of the food, the clothes and the kind of houses of the people. Now students, there are six major control of the climate of any place. They are latitude, altitude, pressure and wind system, distance from the sea, continentally, ocean currents and relief feature. Now, due to the curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to latitude. As a result, air temperature generally decreases from the equator towards the pole. Now, altitude. As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitudes, the atmosphere begins to becomes less dense and temperature decreases. The hills are therefore cooler during summer. Now, altitude plays an important role in influencing the climate of a place. As one goes up higher altitude away from the surface of the earth, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Therefore, hills are cooler during summer. Now, the pressure winds. Now, the pressure and wind system of an area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. It influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. Now, the sea exerts a moderating influence on climate. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influences decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. Now students, equable and extreme climates. Now this type of climate, equable climate is neither too hot in summer and nor too cold in winter. The annual and daily range of temperature is low. Coastal areas have equable climate or maritime climate. Now, extreme climate is also known as continental type of climate. Summers are very hot in continental type of climate or an extreme climate. Summers are very hot and winters are too cold in this type of climate. The annual and daily range of temperature is very high. Inland areas have extreme or continental type of climate. Now, ocean currents affect the climate of the coastal areas. Ocean currents, along with the onshore winds, affect the climate of the coastal areas. Any coastal area with warm or cold currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. Now, relief also play a major role in determining the climate of place. High mountains act as barrier for a cold or hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they are very high and lie in the path of rain-bearing winds. The leeward side of mountains remain relatively dry. Now students, what do you mean by the windward side? The part of hill slope which obstruct the moisture laden winds or which comes in the path of moisture laden winds and by striking these winds receives heavy rainfall. Example, western slopes of Western Ghats. Now, what is rain shadow? The leeward dry slope of mountains is called rain shadow area. This side is away from the direction of wind and therefore deprived of rains. Examples, Deccan Plateau, Kashmir, Shillong plateaus are the example of rain shadow areas. Now, students, that factors affecting the climate are latitude, altitude, relief, distance from the sea, ocean currents. These all are in detail I explain you, or in detail I give you with explain with you examples. Now, due to the curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varied according to the latitude. Altitude, you all know that as one goes from the surface of the earth, high altitude, the temperature becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Pressure and wind system. The pressure and wind system of any area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. Distance from the sea. Continentally, that I explained you, extreme and equable. Extreme climate is also known as continentality type of climate. So, as the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influences decreases and the people experience extreme weather condition. This condition is known as continentality. Now, summers in continental or extreme type of climates, summer are very hot and winters are too cold in this type of climates. Ocean currents along with the onshore winds affect the climate of an area. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. Relief plays a major and determining the climate of a place. High mountains act as a barrier for cold or hot winds. They also cause rainfall if they are high enough and lie in the path of rain bearing winds. Thank you, students.